Good morning, world, and hello, YouTube. I'm Slinned, and this is my world. And today we're going to be talking about this tree farm right here. So last episode we talked about the tree cathedral right over there. Today is going to be part 2 of the tree farm, which is going to be the little brother of the tree cathedral. So if the tree farm over here is a tree cathedral, this would be the smaller annex to it with the administrative offices, the classrooms, etc. In the big tree farm, we grow 2x2 saplings, so that's the dark oak, the spruce, and the jungle trees. In this smaller one, we do the single sapling trees, so the birch, the acacia, and the regular oak trees. As you can see from the front of this building, we have like all of these amazing views. We have the bridge over the lake and the castle, the stables, the Colosseum, the end temple, and the not so interesting glue factory. But that's okay, I still like it. It was never meant to be an exciting, awesome build. It was meant to be like a little rundown factory next to a river so that they could dump all their waste. What? No, that's illegal. Anyways, so for today's episode, we're going to be talking about part 2 of the tree farm, which is this little guy. You can see there's a lot of undeveloped space around here. One day these are probably going to be like parks and other areas. I don't want to obstruct the view to the rest of the world over here. It's got such an amazing view. It would be a shame if we obstructed or anything like that. So probably like a playground or parks or just, little garden areas over here. Then we have lots of room over there to do other things if we want to build actual structures. So yeah, I'm gonna head down here, and I'm gonna wait for daytime, and then I'm gonna head down here and we're gonna begin. So see you guys in just a moment. Alright, it's daytime. You might have been wondering what this is or what this was. This is actually a horse hole, just big enough for my horse to go into. The horse can't jump out, but I can jump out right easily. There used to be chests around here, so this was my construction site for building this entire area. And this right here, well, it was raining one day. I always have my dog sit next to my horse hole, Rar. I don't know where Rar is right now, probably in front of the tree farm actually. But it was raining one day, and I felt sorry for Rar just sitting out there next to the horse hole getting wet, so I built him a little doghouse, and then Rar just sat in there so he could stay dry. Anyways, let's head inside and we'll talk about the functionality. So as you can see, there's trees currently grown in here. This is usually the case. I typically plant saplings on these dirt blocks and then let them grow naturally. If I did need wood, like specifically, then I could bone meal them. And it's actually really simple because the saplings will be up at your head level instead of down on the ground, so you just run by and you can bone meal them quite fast. This row of brick right above there, that actually caps the max height of the tree. Now for birch trees that's not important. For acacia trees it's not really helpful. But for oak trees, if you don't cap the height of the tree, then you get those ginormous oak trees with like the 50 branches everywhere that take probably about 10 minutes to chop down a single one of them, pillaring up in different directions to get rid of the extra branches. And I don't want to have to do that for, a couple pieces of wood. It's not worth it to me. So that's why we have this row of blocks here. And I guess I could just go ahead and count how many that is. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's 8 blocks up. I believe I believe that if you were to raise that by a single more block, then you would start getting the large oak trees. So that's the max height that you can have it without getting the large oak trees. With that said, occasionally oak trees will grow branches out to the sides, but only 1 block out to the side, and it's all within axe range from standing on the ground. Now, this dirt here, you might be thinking, well, why is the dirt raised? Well, the reason for that is if this was an oak tree right here, right now it's a birch tree, but if it were an oak tree, the leaves would be at this level right here. So if the dirt was not raised, then the leaves would be at that level right there. If you were trying to walk by and bone meal these or chop them down, then you'd have your head stuck in leaves all the time. So to avoid getting your head stuck in the leaves, the trees are planted off of the ground. So basically all the limits of this farm are based around oak trees. Basically, they're based around oak trees, yeah. Makes sense. Birch and acacia just sort of work here as well. The acacia are probably the hardest ones to work here because they're very limited in height. They would prefer a higher area to grow in, so they get forced down to smaller sizes here, which is it's okay. Again, it allows you to reach all of the branches without having to pillar up or anything, so it's still a good thing. I'm still glad that we do the acacia trees here as well, so that I don't have to pillar up to get those troll branches. This dirt here actually retracts. You might think, well, why is that necessary? Why does the dirt have to retract? If I'm always going to grow the trees raised on the dirt, why does it go down and up? And the reason for that is because we have a water flush. So just like the other tree farm, I want the saplings to collect themselves. I don't want to have to come back here every 5 minutes and run back and forth so that the saplings don't despawn. Now, as you can see, the dirt being there blocks the water flow from getting to the water channel down here. This channel, of course, leads to an item elevator. I'll show all that stuff in a little bit after I get out of the current. But with that dirt there, the water can't flow, so the saplings would get stuck and despawn. But with the dirt retract, the water just goes right over top of where the dirt was previously, and can push all the saplings into the water channels here so that I can collect them all and replant them. Sorry about that. Headset decided that it didn't want to work again. Alright, next question you might have is, why are they spaced out the way they're spaced out? It's actually a great question. I've been cutting down trees for a very long time in Minecraft, since the very second thing I did after checking my inventory years ago. It's important to keep in mind that you have to get back the saplings to replant these trees from the leaves above them. If we had one continuous row, as you can see, each tree is getting its number of saplings seriously reduced because the leaves for it are just a single row thick. That is said for everything except for the tree on the very end here. Now, in my experience, I found that 7 to 10 trees is as many as you could have in a row that would return the number of saplings you need to replant them. If you got to 11, 12, 13 trees, then you suddenly did not have enough saplings to replant. So these extra leaves on the sides here, which aren't extra, they're just the regular leaves from the tree, but these side trees are the only ones that are able to grow those extra leaves. The rest of them are lost to this bunch. So this is the most space effective way I found to be able to plant trees side by side by side and still get those saplings back. So you need this buffer zone in between so that the extra leaves will give you those extra saplings so you can replant them all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So my tree farm actually, because I wanted an odd number in the middle, it goes 10, 9, 10 for the rows. And that usually guarantees that from one harvest I might not get enough saplings back, but on average I typically get enough saplings back to replant all these trees. The one exception is acacia trees, where you could take half your saplings, burn them in lava, and still have plenty of saplings left over to replant 30 more times. Because acacia trees love dropping acacia saplings. I'm not sure if there's just more leaves on them. I never counted, but you always get a ton of acacia saplings. However, for birch and oak trees, this seems to be the perfect amount for space, efficiency, and getting back the right number of saplings. If you want to farm saplings, then obviously this is not the way to do it. You should be planting your trees out there in the field so that you get all of the leaves back to get those saplings. But this gives me enough saplings to replant, and that's what I was looking for. Okay, so that's pretty much the functionality. The size of the room, this is mostly just for acacia trees, I guess. The acacia trees grow out sideways, so we needed the extra buffer space so that their saplings will actually land somewhere where we can collect them and not just have their branches sticking out in our pathway. So that's why there's a huge buffer area here and in the front as well. You might be wondering why there's so many lights on the ground. It's a bit overkill, but it also lights up the area, make sure that this area remains mob spawnless and we can't use torches or anything because the water will flush it away. Not to mention torches are not very pretty looking. But those all are light. They also give enough light for the saplings to grow naturally even if it's nighttime. And then we just have a hallway around here. And you can see with the hallway we have these corner towers, which I think look really cool from outside. But other than that, it's just, you know, some depth on the walls as you travel by. Windows. This is our sky bridge on the inside. You saw this from the outside a little bit. We can actually go outside and take a look at the outside of the build now too. So the sky bridge I'm actually really proud of. It's not really much in the sky, but it is elevated and it let me do the road right underneath it, which I thought worked out really great. So I'm pretty happy with this design here. We use stained glass and iron bars there to give some difference as you travel across, so that's not all bland and the same and boring. Inside these pillars we used cyan stained clay, which is the gray clay, just to give this sort of a darker feel, make it feel like it was a shadow in there. Just like we did at the front of the tree cathedral, we used the cyan stained clay to make a shadow for the stone brick. On the outside of the walls here you can see the depth on the inside is repeated in reverse on the outside. So we're on the inside, the windows are flat and the greens are set back. The outside, the greens are flat and the windows are set in. It gives us depth on the inside and outside by doing that, which I thought worked really well. For these windows on the corner tower areas, we just use stairs and slabs. I believe, yeah, that is a slab right there. Nope, sorry, those are two upside down stairs facing each other. My bad. So those are all stairs on the border of the window, and that was just to get a cool design. So no functionality there, no functionality on any of these design choices. They were just here to look cool. And I think we did a pretty good job of that. There's a little pattern at the roof of the entrance there, and we did the tiered entrance just like we did to the main tree cathedral, just toned down quite a bit. So it's a much smaller entryway here. And then there's just color insets and depth for effect. I'm not sure what that effect is, but it feels cool. If we go over to this side, there's one small stained glass window, not nearly as big as the stained glass windows on the tree cathedral, but it's just a small tree back here, and it fit in because this is where the sky bridge connects on the other side, so we had a slightly larger space to deal with, and I just thought a window would look cool there, so we did a little tree with a sky and some grass. So that's for the most part the design of this building. The roof is all glass, sort of like a greenhouse. It's green glass. If we go inside, we'll just look up. Green glass except for where these stone brick bands are, which stop the trees from growing too big. So that's for the most part the design. I'm not really sure if there was much else to talk about. It did take a while to come up with the design. We tried multiple things. When I'm building, I typically do many different designs and then pick the one that I like the best. So we went through multiple iterations of this to get it worked out, and this is all of the best stuff that I could come up with at the time. I feel like this is one of my better builds. I really do like it. It is a lot of stone brick still, but with that said, it is a functional build. So having the stone brick with the ability to use stairs and half slabs and stuff was very important. And using wood to build a tree farm didn't really make sense to me. You're already going to be swinging your axe wildly. You don't want to accidentally destroy half of your building while doing that. Under this carpet here we just have some lighting, maybe, there it is, jack-o'-lantern lighting under the carpet, nice and hidden away, and that's because these areas on the side, the ceiling is elevated, so our lighting on the ceiling here, which lights up the ground, would not reach in these areas because we raised the ceiling up. And the corners, as you could guess, there's torches here. That's because these corners still need work. I don't know where to put that torch. We might do a carpet or something in this area to fix the lighting, but that is not for today. That is for the future. And this section as well, the lighting doesn't reach this one center block right there. Alright, let's talk about the redstone. So, as you might have guessed, there's actually 3 redstone things going on here. The dirt on pistons is 1, the water dispenser is 2, And then the item elevator from these water streams is 3. Let's just go take a look at where that item elevator comes out. That is just this chest right here. As you can see, all the logs we missed, as well as the saplings from the last harvest we did, are still in here. It looks like last time we harvested oak wood. Right underneath this chest is a dropper, which points upwards into the chest, and as you can see underneath the ender chest right next to it is also a dropper. That does not actually do anything. That dropper is just there because we wanted it to be symmetrical. So we have the gray outline around this chest. I wanted it around the ender chest next to it. But this is our item elevator chest, so any item that goes into this tree farm will come up in that chest. However, this water stream here is slightly slower than most water streams. It does not drop down. Let's talk about the water stream first. So the water stream does not drop down. You can see it starts all the way back here, and it starts 2 blocks down. It flows all the way to the front of the room without dropping down a single block. And the way we do this is with these sections right here. So this is actually a half slab that is half a block off the ground. There's water on top of that half slab flowing in the same direction. The way we get that to flow is with that sign on the wall back there, stopping the water from flowing backwards. And the way the items pass underneath this half slab, the half block of air there, is there's an ice block underneath the half slab. So the items slide across the ice block and then rejoin the new fresh water stream produced by this water block. So that is how you make a item conveyor that doesn't have to go down in level using water. There are other ways of doing this. You do not need the upper layer. You don't need the half slab and the water on top if you just want to send items through. So you could remove that half slab and just have the next water right here with a sign and an ice block. However, because there will be leaves dropping directly into the water stream, and they could potentially land on the ice block, and then they would just sit there because they have no momentum, I wanted the water to always be flowing, so no matter where the item lands, even if it lands right on top of the water source block, it will get picked up and pushed by the water stream. So that's why I did the item conveyor the way I did that. We'll go see if our torches are in here, and there's one of them. As I said, it's a bit slow. Also, there is a delay on the item elevator pushing the items up. So that's the water stream, and the item elevator is exactly the same as the one we used in the other tree farm. Let's just see if we can find a way to get underneath here. That is not the right way. There we go. These are the water streams. This is the one from the left hand side of the tree farm, and you can see it just flows until it reaches this hopper, and then it does exactly the same thing on this side. It's the right side water stream, and it flows until it reaches that hopper, and those hoppers all join together, go this way, and then go into this item elevator. This is the dropper underneath the ender chest you saw, so the dropper underneath the other chest is just hidden, but is right above this block here, or right next to that block there rather. And then this is our item elevator. You can see there's a little bit of a buffer in the droppers as it goes up. Every other dropper typically has an item that gets stuck in it, but those, because this is going to be in constant use, that's not really relevant to me. It works good. It works goodly. So I'm quite happy with the item elevator design. There are better ways to do it, but this is the way that I prefer to do it. Alright, now for the 2 remaining bits of redstone. We have the dirt pistons and the water flush systems. So this T flip-flop here is for the pistons. That way we can use the button press to turn the pistons on and off. It does the same thing as before. We're just using it to convert a button into a lever. So just like we used it as the pressure plates being converted into levers, for the other part of the tree farm, this just makes the button convert into a lever press, or a lever pull rather. Let's see what I can do here. Oh, I cannot remove that block. We actually just turned on the water flush. There we go. Now we turn it off. So this is going to be a little bit hard to navigate. The button presses for the dirt goes into the T flip-flop and either turns the levers on or off. And that signal is brought through here. I might have a bit of trouble navigating this area. I'll try my best though. So that dirt, or that redstone signal from the T flip-flop then travels through here, and down into the ground here where it powers these side areas of piston banks. So we have all of our piston banks here, and this is just a continuous line of redstone going on the ground here. If I could navigate it, going on the ground here, going to all of these pistons. We use repeaters to power the piston, or to power the block, which powers the piston that the block is wow, let's try that again. The repeaters power the block, and then the block powers the piston. You can see though there's different delay on each of these repeaters. The reason for the different delay on all of the repeaters is so that we get that cool effect when I power this, where you see the dirt go up in sort of the wave effect. That's because we have delays on all of these repeaters, and then each different bank of repeaters also is delayed by just a little bit. That way it goes in sequence and it looks really cool. At least I think it looks really cool. It took a while to get the timing on these all right, but you can see it goes 0 ticks, or sorry, 1 tick, because a repeater is always 1 tick at least. It goes 1 tick for the first couple pistons, and then we go up to 2 ticks for the next few pistons, which is 3 of them here, and then we go up to 3 ticks for the next 2 pistons, and then 4 full ticks for the final 3 pistons. So each one of these repeater banks here for the pistons has 4 different timings on it, 1, 2, 3, or 4 ticks. And then each bank itself is also delayed a little bit from the bank previous to it. You might be wondering, what are these torches and all this stuff in the middle? Well, these torches here are just powering our lights, very easy. It does not affect anything down here. You can see we use repeaters. The reason this repeater is further back and there's a redstone dust powering that is because if we had a redstone dust right here and the repeater was against the wall like all the other repeaters here, this redstone torch would power that dust. So we use our repeater right there to block the signal from the torch connecting to the dust on the ground. And this stuff in the middle, we're about to get to that. The middle piston and there's no pistons here. The middle redstone dust and repeaters here, which point into blocks and continue forward. Above these blocks is actually our water dispensers with water buckets in them. So these repeaters are pointing a signal into that block, which powers the dispenser and dispenses that water bucket. And then if they get powered again, it will absorb that water bucket back and drain the water. And this just goes, let's put a block there. This redstone just goes into the block, powers the block, and then it will also shoot through this side, and then it will just continue down the center of this. So there we have all of our water dispensers down the middle row. There's also water dispensers on both sides, which we probably cannot see. I'll take a quick look and see if we can actually see them. But it's the same concept where the redstone signal just powers all of the dispensers as it goes along. I believe areas like this is actually just our piston transferring the signal from this side to over that side, and we use a half slab here so that it doesn't break the redstone signal, so it can just go right underneath the dispensers. So 3 different things of redstone going on here: lighting, water dispensers, and pistons, and we don't want any of them to connect, so it's just a big mess, pretty much. A huge mess of trying to avoid things connecting to each other and try to get everything done. It's definitely not the most efficient redstone, but it's what I can do. That's how I do redstone. Sloppy, messy, messy, sloppy. 2 different ways of doing it: sloppy, messy, messy, sloppy. Both are my ways. And in this area we have really tricky stuff going on. In this area we have the water streams coming across the redstone, so you can see there's water droplets, and I have to be careful which blocks here I'm actually going to break, because I don't want to cause a flood that will wash away all my redstone. Let me just break that block there. That was a very important block, but we'll put it back with dirt for right now, so I can get out of here later. So this redstone on the sides here we go, we can see it on the side. Let me just go over there. This is the side dispensers for the water. So here there's water buckets again. This redstone just runs along both sides just like this. It does the same thing on the other side of the tree farm, and this powers all of the water dispensers on the side. And the redstone we're actually standing in between right now, these 2 lines, are the buttons on the reverse side of the tree farm. So there's controls for the water and the dirt at two different locations. On either side of the tree farm, we can trigger the dirt or the water. So these two lines of wire just go to the back of the tree farm, and there are pistons here. So if you press the buttons on this side, if you press that one, that's the water control. If you press this one, that's the dirt control, and it will just connect the circuit here by putting that block down and letting this send a signal through the block, which will travel down this entire line back to the front of the tree farm so it can trigger the water and piston mechanisms. So this is just, adding extra buttons to it, and we had to route the wiring somewhere, so we do it over here. And I think that's pretty much it for the redstone. So we're just going to go pop those buttons a couple more times, and then I will skedaddle out of here and say goodbye. Let's make sure those buttons are going to work when we press them. Otherwise that would be pretty embarrassing. Alright, if we pop back out here to figure out the way we came in. There we go. Pop out. Go inside. Make sure our redstone still works. Here's our dirt control. You can see the dirt go down. The dirt goes down in the wave fashion that we program those repeaters for the delay. It will also come up in that fashion as well. It's a little bit laggy because it's using a lot of pistons, so it sort of glitches out and you can see through the dirt blocks for just a split second there. And you can see on the back side of the tree farm we have the two same exact buttons. We can power the dirt from this side as well. If I click the button, there's a bit of a delay as it has to send the signal all the way to the other side and then power it through the same way that that button powers it. And the water also can be controlled from both sides. And there we go, we have our center dispensers all triggered, as well as the ones on the sides. So that's the redstone, that's the functionality, and that's the design of my secondary tree farm. I'm just going to pop out to the front and talk about the future of the tree farm just a little bit. Obviously, we're going to have these torches removed. I don't want to have torches anywhere in any of my builds unless the torches are part of the build. So those torches in the corners and on the sides are going to get removed. Like the front of this tree farm has trees and park benches and flowers along the sides of it, I plan on doing the same thing for the back part here. And I love this view back here, so we probably won't do any structures over here that would block that view, but we most likely will do like a park or a pond or park benches, trees, flowers, etc. Make a small garden area out here, possibly like a playground. So if we're calling this like the classroom and office structure of the tree cathedral, then there would have to be a playground for the kids to play in. So a playground of some type, just a little park over here, is most likely what's in the future for in front of this building. This road may possibly connect somewhere someday. There's another road that connects all the way back over here already, so we could wrap this around, or it might just go to a building or something, a building complex over here. We have a lot of space over here. There is a river down at the side, which would probably mark the edge of any builds that we do over here, but there is more space over here if I ever want to do like a tree storage facility or any other type of thing related to trees. Would probably get built back in this section here. And again, we would do flowers and a little bit of spacing and beautification around the sides of the building here. But that pretty much does it for part 2 of my tree farm. The single sapling tree building where we harvest all of our single sapling wood. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below the stream. I will check and try to reply to any questions that you guys might have. And as always, if you're looking for more Slinned, be sure to check me out on Twitch. That's just twitch.tv/Slinned. And I will see you guys there. So thanks for watching. Have a great day. Peace.